Morning, sports investors. Rothstein here, famed Rothstein Sports Investing Show. All right, link to the podcast is in the bio. Today's Saturday, March 27th, 2021. It's about 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. So it's about 5 a.m. Pacific, 2 a.m. in Hawaii. But regardless of where you're listening to us from, thank you for listening and welcome back to the show. Now, before I continue, a couple things here. First of all, hit that like button for me. I should have more and subscribe. I should have more subscribers by now. Help me out, all right? I'm giving you free picks. I don't charge you. Some dude said that, some dude, he thinks he's a foe of mine or something. Old dude. I don't ask people. I don't ask you for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? I don't know why he was just saying that because on Twitter, you can, he's a local guy. On Twitter, you can say stuff and, there's no twibbles. I guess you could be sued for libel on Twitter, but I'm not going to sue the guy. But it was just like, well, why you say that? Like, you just trying to be relevant somehow. But yeah, I'm giving you this free action, so just subscribe, all right? I'm here Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Just didn't do anything last week just because I was just tired. Didn't feel like going on video. I didn't feel pretty, but today I feel pretty. Despite some people talking about I look like DMC, because my Kango won't go bucket low because I got an afro. The polarized glasses, you know how I do. But yeah, even though the Kango only going so low, it's still bucket low. Like, fuck it, though. Don't get it twisted. You understand? So hit that like and subscribe, Also, if you feel you have a gambling problem, please do not listen to this show. Please contact your state or your local Gamblers Anonymous Association hotline, and hopefully they can get you the services you feel you need, because on this show, we do discuss sports investing through sports wagering, and we don't want to be any triggers to any negative behaviors for you. So please contact your state or your local Gamblers Help Group, and hopefully they can get you on the path of the straight and narrow. But those of you who remain, you will become profitable sports investors. Just last night didn't happen. I mean, after the stellar week we had last week, don't believe me, go check the podcast. Matter of fact, do that. Just in case, because if I don't do a video, I'll always do a voice. It don't take much to, clear your throat and start talking some shit. Yeah, and the podcast, famed Rothstein Sports Investing Show, same name. It's on, the host is Anchor.fm, but you can find it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Podcasts, TuneIn, about 10 different places, all right? But, last night we went 0-2. That was our first losing Friday in a while. We went 0-2. What was it? We said that, both of them we lost by the hook. We lost by the hook on both of them. We said Alex Ovechkin would have over 4.5 shots on goal. He had 4. And we said that the Phoenix Suns would win by 4.5 over Toronto. They won by 4. And if you got the game late, that Phoenix game, it went down to 4. So you might have actually pushed on that, depending on when you check the podcast. But we don't dwell on wins. We don't dwell on losses. We keep going. I got 3 for you today. 1 from the NBA, 2 from the College Hoop Rock Tournament, all right? Sorry, didn't mean to get the logo in there. They are not a sponsor, but, if you want to go fuck with them, go right ahead. I don't diss nobody. We got, let's see, from the NBA, we've got the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Sacramento Kings. Cleveland had some, Cleveland just traded some players. They're talking about buying out Andre Drummond. The thing with Cleveland, the Cavaliers, is they've had their once-in-a-generation success with LeBron. Between winning the title, the finals, and all that, you're never going to experience that again. Nobody wants to go to Cleveland. You get the lake effect snow up there. You got violent-ass cold weather, violent streets. It's not a real safe city. Just nobody wants to go there. Just on the humble, unless they, have to, or you're the one paying. You're going to have to, overpay somebody. Overpay. And I don't even know if you're allowed to do that in the NBA. With the exemptions and whatnot, with the what they call that, max contracts and super maxes and shit like that. I don't even know if you're allowed to do that unless you're paying somebody, $100 million a year for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, it just don't, and no owner in Cleveland's going to have that kind of dough, so. But Sacramento, they've had some flashes this year. They're a solid team. They got some young scores, Yield, and my man, what's his name? Fox. They got some young players. Just I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it all together while they are together. So we're going to take Sacramento -7. If you want to move the line either way, that's on you. But the line I got is -7. All right? Now, the College Hoop Rock Tournament. We've got you've got the first game is at 5:15. You got Villanova against Baylor. Sweet 16 is where you're supposed to meet your nemesis. I think Baylor meets theirs today. Okay, what I mean by your nemesis is a team that's supposed to be one of the last teams you would want to play just because of their style. And Baylor likes to get up and down a little bit. Villanova's knocking down shots. You don't want to run with a team that knocks down shots. Okay, because eventually, you're going to run into some trouble, and they're going to keep knocking down shots. All right, and I'm just not a fan of Baylor athletics. Period. The issues with the sex stuff, notwithstanding. I'm just not. It's just, okay, all right. It's just not. When I'm looking up college sports, I'm not looking for Baylor anything. Football, basketball, nothing. I don't care. Okay, and Villanova, on the other hand, they are tournament tested, tried and true. Just won a title not that many years ago. And Jay Wright, other than I think it was last year they had an early exit, or maybe the year before. They're usually running deep into this tournament. He gets these guys deep in this tournament. So we're gonna take Villanova +7.5. Not saying they're gonna win it, but +7.5. I think they're gonna cover. Okay, Villanova shows up, except for that one time where they had that second round exit. Second round, if you're gonna have an upset exit, it's usually then. Villanova got caught napping that day, and ever since then, and before that, they was balling. So we're going to take Villanova +7.5 against Baylor today. That game starts at 5-ish, I think. The NBA game starts around after 9 p.m. Eastern. And then this next game, Louisville and Houston, not Louisville, Syracuse and Houston. Syracuse and Houston, that starts around 9 or 10 Eastern as well. And speaking of which, how football, we loved when the P5 coaches, the former P5 head coaches, would go to a smaller conference and kind of dominate it. And it looks like Kelvin Sampson did the same thing at Oklahoma, as you know, or at Houston, as you know, he was at Oklahoma and at Indiana, I believe. And now he's at Houston in the AAC. I see them twice a year. They've always been good. I think they won the title both years. So, yeah, but they struggled with a big-time team in Rutgers that had NBA players. And Ron Harper Jr., and they spent so much time trying to stifle him that everybody else was getting off. And that's why I think Syracuse comes in. That's why, and another thing, I love Syracuse. Syracuse for 30 years has done the same damn thing. 2-3 zone defense and dare you to make shots over it. I don't think Houston can, and if they can, they won't make enough to cover. I don't know if Buddy Boeheim, how you say his name? Buddy Boeheim has got another, big game in him, 23, 24 points, whatever he had against West Virginia, and the game before that. But, Syracuse, like they say, when the Q's is in the house, Syracuse will come to play. All right? So, therefore, we're going to take Syracuse +6.5, all right? Now, let's recap the day. NBA, sometime in the 9-10 o'clock Eastern hour, 9-10 p.m. Eastern hour, we're going to take Sacramento -7 at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then the NCAA men's tournament, sometime in the 5 o'clock hour, Villanova plus 7.5 against Baylor. And sometime in that 9-10 p.m. hour, because it'll probably be pushed back, it'll be Syracuse plus 6.5 against Houston, all right? So there you have it. You got plenty of time. Get online, get in line, and get to the bag. And you know the show's motto. If there's games to be played, there's money to be made. We'll be back tomorrow on Instagram, YouTube, and the podcast for recap today's action and give you more for tomorrow. The rest of the Sweet 16 games, all right? Speaking of Instagram, my Instagram is at fame_Rothstein, FAME_ROTHSTEIN. My Twitter is at Biggie Rothstein, BIGGIEROTHSTEIN. Email address, famerothstein@yahoo.com, FAMEROTHSTEIN, all right? And please, for the love, like, subscribe to this channel, okay? Give you free content, a free way to make some money. All I'm asking you to do is just subscribe to it so you know when I do a video and sign up for notifications. Hit that notification bell, all right? So there you have it. Let's go get our action in. Let's be safe. Let's be courteous. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk about it. But until then, folks, stay safe. Peace.